Kuro Games really amped up Endgame with not just one, but two new Endgame modes. One of which resets monthly, along with the existing Tower of Adversity which now resets monthly as well, and another which resets weekly. That brings the total available amount of asteroids per month up from a mere 1,400 to a whopping 2,140. But the real question is, how good are the new Endgame modes? My name is Void Enigma, and I'll be going over the new Endgame mode, Whimpering Wastes. We get the other weekly end mode, Fantasy of 1,000 Gateways, in about 5 or so days, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an update on that. Without further ado, let's get right into it. While I'm not a fan of crying poop, Whimpering Wastes is setting itself up to be one of the most fun game modes in the game. You remember feeling like a king as you slay wave after wave of monsters in your favorite Dynasty Warriors knockoff? Well, prepare to feel the same here because this mode is an absolute blast. The way it works is, there are 3 modes. The first one being the Forbidden Waters, which offers you a one-time reward for a clear, and that's where you just get your feet wet and learn the mechanics. Then, there's Respawning Waters Chasm, which is where you'll really be doing the stage-based progress to get 15,000 points. And lastly, there's Respawning Waves Torrents, which is where you'll really have to put your skills to the test to get the most points. The gist of the challenge is to kill as many things as quickly as possible, and it seems that you still get full marks as long as you actually kill everything. But in the later stages, killing everything proves to be quite difficult. It's okay though, because the Chasm Waters, you don't actually need to get an S rank score on every stage to get all the rewards. I got an A rank on the last 2 stages and I managed to get full clears, and I didn't even use those limited time buffs and I still managed to get that far, so I'm confident that if you're using the buffs, you'll be able to clear it fully. The thing about whining trash is that you get these buffs, as I just mentioned, along with the stage buff. I don't know if this will change, but the top half is going to get max Concerto starting off, no Liberation, and the bottom half will get max Liberation starting off, no Concerto. You kind of want to craft your teams to capitalize on this. This means, don't bring your Shen Liao in the first half because you will have to build up his Liberation, which can take a while. And an example to actually exploit this is to use a team like maybe Camellia Sanhua in the first half because, bam, she's online. And for the second half, it's best to use characters that rely on their Liberation, so characters like Shen Liao and Jian. Of course, you don't have to do this at all, you can play whoever you want, but that's just the way to best use those particular stage buffs. Along with paying attention to this here. You know how it says Spectro Res, or Resistance? That means that they resist Spectro. Don't do you like me and think you could bring your Spectro characters here and do a ton of damage when no, I was actually doing piss poor damage at this stage. Sniffling Poo is really just a mode to just play around with your best area of effect characters, so rejoice Jian and Camellia because here you can thrive. Don't get me wrong though, a lot of characters are still good here, but you really have to play quickly and not whimpering waste too much time. It's best to continue to do tons of damage and not whimpering waste time raising your energy in Concerto. If that becomes a recurring theme, make sure that you raise your energy recharge on your characters so you can quickly swap between them and continue to do damage. Wave control is important in this wet, sopping, crap-filled waters, but for the most part, you could just go forth and slay every enemy in your wake. You will only start to struggle once you actually get to the later floors, and as I mentioned, you only need 1,500 points for all of the rewards in the actual first part of this, so if you manage to get a lower score on a few floors, you could definitely still make it to get all of the rewards. The hardest part is the last stage, Respawning Waves Torrents. Now, you get these buffs, right? Some are limited, but when you actually come here in the Torrent stage, then all of the buffs will be available for you to use at all times. And before you actually think about choosing any of the other buffs, don't. The Gospel that receives Harmonized Praise is the best token in Weeping Bowel movements. It's a permanent 40% crit rate and 80% crit damage for all party members for simply using an intro, with no cooldown on the buff. Yeah, best buff for this, don't even consider any of the other ones. Trust me, I've tried them all. The only time that you actually consider the other ones is if crit damage is not useful. And considering mostly every character wants crit damage is always going to be useful. Balling Waste is honestly quite amazing, and I cannot wait for what the future of this mode has to offer. It actually gives the ability for area of effect characters like Gion to shine again, and it's so damn fun. Even though it's still a time-based content, it's still pretty fun to kill wave after wave of these enemies. You do need a pretty geared out team to get the full clear on the last mode, and 2 buffers of course for each of your team, such as Verena or Shorekeeper, but since they generally don't hit you too hard, and you should be dodging anyways, you might be able to forego the healer. Even if you can't get full marks, it's not too bad. You should be able to get the majority of the points, which will get you the majority of the rewards. So get out there and clear Whimpering Wastes, because we have a lot of poop to clear out of these whimpering, crying, sobbing waves. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for the recent support, everyone. We reached 7k subs, so let's go up to 10k. That's going to be the next milestone. This has been Void Enigma, and until next time, Enigma out.